Okay, just for the purposes of the video, we've got a parent, Steve, behind the camera. We've got 3 academy principals of our 3 schools, Vicky from St Mary's, Kay Millership from St Joseph's and Diane from St Gregory's. And we've also got a governor present, so Nicola Lewis. So what I'd like to do is really set out that we know that we're looking at introducing an attendance policy. What we've already done is we've looked at concerns that you've raised, that if we introduce quite a strict attendance policy, what impact is it going to have? And also in terms of looking at if there are any concerns about introducing a policy, what can we do to mitigate that? Following your responses on level of importance of different stakeholders, what I've done is I've basically mapped out here on a pestle analysis how important from your responses we feel targeting different groups are to improving attendance to what will have the most impact. There may be concerns about targeting those people. So I've got teachers here, just to read the graph, which are basically middle level of interest as a class teacher, because you want your children in, middle in terms of impact. Over here, we've identified parents as high interest, high impact. Does anyone want to take one of those stakeholders and just explain to me why we feel they are where they are in terms of how we target them? So why would governors be high interest but low impact? Anyone want to share?
Because the governors have got a high interest in terms of school attendance and the percentage of attendance that we've got, but they're not really in a position to have an impact on the attendance that we've got in school because they're not in school every day.
No, they'll make you accountable for delivering it, but they're actually not going to do it, and they can't make the parents deliver.
But they're also accountable regarding safeguarding. Attendance is part of safeguarding, so that's why they're.
And that would go right up to the trust board, which is where you can understand the need for a policy. So I've sort of described teachers when they're, that if a child's not in, that has an impact on their work, but in terms of delivering the policy and the numbers, I'm not sure how much. But as we started before the camera, it was interesting. One of our teachers that we used to have, Johnny Smith at St Mary's, his class had the highest attendance every year. So there's something in the rewards and what he was encouraging in that culture. If we can get that across to our teachers, I think they can have an impact. What about children? Why children here? Basically high interest, but genuinely low impact?
Their impact is going to be lower because actually it's up to their parents to get them into school. They can't, they are small people, they're not going to get into
especially
school by
the younger
themselves.
ones.
Quite,
And also I think it's around sometimes parents' attitudes to, I might send my child in with a sniffle, but you might not. And also, but when the children get older, I have heard of children pressuring parents because they want a reward to not. So I think, they're up a bit, but they don't have the overall say. Why SLT and parents here? SLT are lower than parents. Any thoughts?
Well, SLT are accountable for the attendance of children in school, but also they have to deliver the policy.
Yeah, we've got to deliver it. And actually, the idea is that if we deliver it, it has an impact. And why parents number one?
Because they're the ones that get the children into school, or don't.
I actually think, looking at our responses, we've identified where we need to put our work. But what I would like you to do is, we're going to do a little Diamond 9 activity of around introducing a policy. There are concerns that parents will have, concerns governors will have, and concerns that have been raised that if we're going to go with quite a strict policy, what can we do to mitigate some of the concerns that people will raise in terms of promoting it and things like that. And I think the first thing to do is acknowledge those concerns and then go, actually, before we deliver the policy, what can we put in place to say, okay, you're concerned about this, so we did that. So when we deliver it to parents and they say, you're just doing it to make money, actually we can say, well, actually we don't get the money, this is about school attendance, and really underpin it with the values and the moral purpose of why we're doing it and delivering it. What I want to do is deliver what the 9 concerns are, and I would like you to order them, and apologies for my terrible drawing, as a Diamond 9, so with the maximum concern at the top, and these 2 are broadly equivalent then to lower concerns. And if we've got time, if you can think of something we can do within the policy as a first step to mitigating that concern, then what we're doing is we're addressing stakeholders' concerns so that the delivery of the policy should be smooth. So number 1 is, to what extent could we alienate parents and risk engagement if we go for a strong attendance policy. So I'll chuck that one down there. To what extent do teachers support the ethos and aims of encouraging good attendance? That's one for you to order. Are our approaches to attendance based on best practice and research? Are we sure that what we are doing and the risks that it entail are going to actually get a reward? Impact on attendance, but also have an impact on progress, because it is about why do we want them in every day? Because they make good progress. Do we track, monitor and intervene on attendance swiftly and systematically at the moment? Pre-policy, actually, are we okay with what we're doing, or could we do more? Do we get the balance right between support and enforcement with complex cases? One of the biggest concerns that governors have raised is, what about the complex cases? What if a family's under early help? What if a family, and then, is there a way that we can mitigate that? Does our approach work, and is it in keeping with our school values and ethos? We are a Catholic school, and it does mean that we operate in a certain way with our parents. When parents come back to us and they feel that we're not, because when you're on the end of this, you might not feel it, how are we going to respond to that? Or how are we going to articulate the policy to parents so that they know why we're doing it? And it's just a bit of thought there. Are parents clear about the processes, justifications and expectations academies have of attendance? Would they really be booking those holidays if they knew the impact that it has? I'm going to go last two very quickly. How do we know that our actions will have an impact and warrant the investment of resources? We know that we are tight for time. This is an extra job. There is a cost of that. How will we know that it's worth the time? It may come back to research. And do we, again thinking of children on here, do we reward pupils appropriately for excellent attendance? So can a reward have an impact on where these would be positioned? So we've got the added, you've got the added option afterwards of a dotocracy, where I give each of you 3 dots and you say which one do you think is the most important. Now you could put all of your 3 in one place, one on each, and I'll get you to do that with different colour pens at the end. So I can see, what do parents think, what do governors think, and we can actually track different concerns from different groups of people. Okay. So I'll jumble up in concerns early on and identifying first steps. So I'm actually going to stay out of it because I've probably got my own strong bit.
I think because otherwise there's no point in having a policy. It's got to be.
So that's going to be quite important.
It is important.
So where
we look at sort of improving attendance rather than.
Yes,
100%,
quite. So the most improved.
Yeah.
And I think it's about where and how you reward. You can reward children, but if you do it very publicly, what about the child that was really unlucky and was just ill? They feel a little bit. What about the disabled child that's got medical consultant appointments? And, these are similar, because if parents are clear, if they then choose to book a holiday and get fined, well, they know why we do what we do, and they've made that choice. Yeah. And the reality is, the fine, we don't get the money. We need to make that clear. Just write on there one step that we can take when we introduce it or we develop the policy that can mitigate these concerns. So do we reward appropriately for pupils for excellent attendance? Just as an example, you might say yes, it's appropriate to reward, but we don't make a big show of it because it is down to luck. If you could place 3 dots yourself, you can put them all in one place, or if you want to choose 3 things that are most important to you and your school context, you as a governor, parent Steve, you might have a different concern. You can land all of yours in one place, your 3 dots, or you can choose to spread them. Okay, go, 3 dots.
Right, okay, so I think the tracking is...
Isn't that interesting that as a parent, look where yours are as a governor, look where yours are as academy principals. Actually, what's important to parents is different, and we need to address that in developing the policy.
So it's
interestingly enough, you can put in all your work on research and whatnot, and what we say here, we're actually saying that what is important to us as a school and our values is up here. Parents have different concerns, but ultimately, if you don't address them, we've all agreed that they are numero uno in terms of what will actually make a difference. If you can't get the parents on side with justifications, rewarding appropriately, and it's in line with the values, which is why they probably sent their child to your school in the first place. it will knock their confidence in what we're doing, and that comes back exactly to what you put as number one.
Yeah.
If you don't do those,
Not
you're
going to
going to
do
do
that.
that, and that's your number one concern.
Yeah.
So it's got to be included. Brilliant.
Mm.
Thanks, guys.